Hi, Ben here from Trident Fly Fishing. Got with me today the all-new Hardy Zephrus Saltwater Series. This is the brand new replacement for the Pro Axis X, and today we've got this in the 9-foot 8-weight, and we're going to compare it to our old favorite, the Loomis NRX 9-foot 8-weight. So this is a review you're definitely going to want to check out. So holding both these rods side by side, a couple of things are noticeable right off the bat. First, they've got slightly different fighting butts. I personally prefer the butt on the new Hardy. It's a little bit bigger and a little bit more useful, whereas the fighting butt on the old NRX is just a fighting butt. And then going up, you've got the same double up locking reel seat, a graphite insert instead of an aluminum insert. It's followed up by almost the same exact grip. So through the cork, these rods are pretty similar, just like what you'd expect from two top-notch saltwater rods. As we move up, these two rods have the exact same recoil stripping guides. The one difference though is that on the NRX, they're much smaller in diameter. So what that means is that they'll probably give you a little bit better casting accuracy, but they're also going to be less forgiving if you snag your line. Moving on up, you'll see the same recoil snake guides. They're all crush-proof titanium. Very, very nice top-notch componentry on both of these rods. So we're going to take these out, cast them, and kind of give you a nice comparison test of how these two do. But first, we'll talk about the outfit that we're casting. So both of these rods will be cast with our favorite Hatch 7 Plus and our new favorite saltwater line, the Bruce Chard Tropical Punch. And I thought I'd take a little bit of time in this review to talk about this line and why we like it so much. The Tropical Punch is like a blend of all of the best saltwater lines. It's got a pretty long head so you can hold line up, but it's also very weight forward so it loads in close very quickly. What that all really means is that for casters from beginning to expert and for distances from close to far, this line does it really, really well. The only thing that it doesn't do well is delicate presentations. So if you're fishing for tailing bonefish in Eleuthera, or someplace where they're really spooky, this is probably not the right line for you. But we're also going to cast these with the old standard, the Rio bonefish, to give you a little bit of a comparison on how both of these rods work with that. Anyway, distraction over, let's go cast these rods. So we're here in sunny Sarasota, Florida, casting the brand new Hardy Zephrus Saltwater Series. The combination of the Zephrus and this Bruce Chard Tropical Punch is really great. I am just nailing this target at 35 feet. So now we're going to pick up that NRX and see how it does at 30 feet. After casting the Zephrus, I really liked how it behaved at 30 feet, but I was expecting the NRX to be better. You know, it's simply known for its soft, accurate tip. And the NRX is definitely good. It's just not quite as good as that Zephrus was. I'm really impressed with how it casts. So moving this Zephrus and the NRX back to 50 feet, we've got the Zephrus up first again, and we've got a pretty howling tailwind. You can see the kite surfers in the background, but I don't know if it's the combination of the wind or what. I feel like I'm just having to work at the accuracy a little bit more than I'd normally want to. In a calm situation, I feel like it would be really good. So the NRX at 50 feet is definitely a little bit better than the Zephrus. It's just a laser at this distance. There's really hardly any rod I've ever cast that's better at 50 feet than this NRX. So I don't know if this is the tailwind or the shard line, but this is the best rod I've ever cast at 70 feet. Straight up, 10 out of 10. It is a machine. With this new Zephrus in hand, I feel like you've actually got a shot at bonefish at this distance, assuming you can see them, of course. It's amazing. Curious to see how that NRX does in comparison. So for the last bit of this comparison test, we've got the NRX at 70 feet too. And I gotta say the rods are pretty close, but I felt like the new Zephrus was just a little bit easier to get that accuracy the way I wanted it. You know, even having fished the NRX for quite a long time and being very comfortable with this rod, it just doesn't generate the easy line speed that Zephrus does. So we're wrapping up this great comparison test. I gotta say, both of these rods are very similar. One thing that's readily apparent though is the NRX is a little bit heavier in the tip than the new Zephrus. So if you're looking for a lighter weight rod, the Zephrus is going to be a better choice for you. The other thing that was apparent is that the NRX does a little bit better at the middle distances. So we've actually fished both of these rods on the water. We fished them on the beach. They're both amazing rods. For tropical flats fishing, floating lines, I think I'm gonna have to give the slight, and it's a very, very slight edge to the Zephrus. And the reason being, it's a little bit lighter, it's a little bit more accurate at the 30 and 70 feet, generates a little bit more line speed when you need it, and it does cast both a Rio bonefish and the Shard Tropical Punch just a tad better than this NRX. On the other hand, if I'm a presentation bonefish guy, the NRX is probably a little bit better because those middle distances count a lot more, and I found that I was able to slow it down and make a little bit nicer presentations with the NRX instead of the Zephrus. So the bottom line is you really can't go wrong with either. Both the Tropical Punch and the Rio Bonefish work great with both rods, and the Hatch 7 Plus balances both of these rods very, very nicely. And both the Zephrus and the NRX are going to be available this fall and shipped with free second air at tridentflyfishing.com. If you have questions about these rods or just want to talk to one of our fly fishing gurus, give us a call at 888-413-5211 or email us 24/7 at support@tridentflyfishing.com. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button or leave us a comment and tell us how we did. I'm Ben, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.